All right. It would help if I had my book open, right? Oh, goodness. Had everything ready but this. Of course. Okay. No, okay. Of course you can. 1.1. Very first thing. We're talking about opposites and absolute values. Opposites and absolute values. And by the way, I'm going to be pausing in between to allow people to catch up and everything. If for some reason I'm moving too fast, all you need to do is just raise your hand and let me know. Okay, there's only like 5 of y'all in here, so we can move at a different pace. But also stay alert, because if you're busy kind of thinking of other things and all of a sudden you see that, I'm not, we got to keep going. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about are integers. Integers are the set of whole numbers and their opposites. Also, I will make mistakes. Don't hold back if I misspell a word, solve something wrong. Trust me, I will make a mistake. Okay, example of integers. Positive 2 and negative 2. Positive 4, negative 4. Negative 6, positive 6. That's not too difficult, right? So an integer is a set of whole numbers and their opposites. Are we good there? Oh, there's like a hair tickle. Okay. Number line. I know you guys know what a number line is. But the problem is when we are dealing with positives and negatives, we can easily get confused. Easily. Okay, if we were to move this direction, what happens to the integers? Do they get bigger or smaller? Smaller. That's right. Smaller. If we go this way, they get bigger. For example, Let's compare -2 and -4. Raise your hand if you know which one is larger. I tell you, that is correct. -2 is larger than -4. Now that can be confusing. Guys, I'm going to tell you. Algebra 1 class, that's next year, and we've talked about that's a high school level course, yes? Right? Okay, I have honor students in there. I have regular advanced Algebra 1 and then honor advanced Algebra 1. When they're busy doing work, their focus sometimes is on solving the problem and they miss the obvious. They will look at this as just a 2 and a 4. And it's a simple mistake. When you are, and I'm telling you, this can happen. It's the whole military attention to detail. When you are knee deep in a problem, it happens. But 2, because -2 is here and -4 is here, -4 is farther down on the number line, so it is smaller. Okay, so if you are like, wait, why is -2, bigger? Because 2 normally is smaller than 4, but it's because it's a negative. Guys, it's so funny. I love teaching pre-algebra. I love teaching algebra. It's way more fun to me than even 6th grade math or 5th grade math. Remember when I was teaching, those of you that are here, 5th grade math, it was like, I even started showing y'all algebra and stuff like that because I love it. And it was like, I want to do the fun stuff. Not everyone considers it fun, but I enjoy it more. So you guys are going to get way more out of math this year than you probably did in 5th grade because I enjoy it. And so my students in Algebra 1 have problems that literally take up the entire page.
Like one problem?
One problem, okay? We have, and I don't assign like 20 of those. When they do that, I'm like, yeah, let's do 5 problems. Because I've had students, I sometimes have 9th graders or 10th graders in my classes. I had one student, oh, poor thing. She started up here and then worked all the way down the bottom. And she kept getting the wrong answer. And it was just silly mistakes like something like this at the very beginning. And it was making her crazy. We worked for an hour at night, like about 10 o'clock at night. She would text me a picture and I would zoom in and go over her steps. Oh, it's right here, it's right here. And she had to start all over. So I'm very serious as far as pre-algebra goes. Attention to detail will save your life. It's not a race to see who can finish first, because if you rush too much, you can make silly mistakes, and then you have to go back and start over, okay? So take your time, and please utilize me in the evenings. Even if you're grounded from your phone, ask your parental unit, hey, or if you don't have a phone, can I use your phone to take a picture of my math and send it to Mrs. Rogers? I promise you, it will not be ugly. We will have fun going back and forth. It won't be bad. But attention to detail, slow your roll when you're doing free algebra, and you will all be fine, I promise. Okay, so negative number. And also tell stories in between so people can catch up if they're slow at writing. Like, for example, Joseph and Tanner, since you're new. Did y'all know that during the summers, I'm a private investigator?
Are you doing school too?
No, I don't have time for, well, I made this year. So I have stories I can tell.
Haven't you done some
Huh?
Didn't you do like a basketball player or something like that?
I did.
You told Kaleo.
Oh, Clay was so upset when he found out. One of my victims.
Who was it again?
James Harden.
Oh.
One of my victims.
What
Yeah. I bailed on that one though, because he's a scary dude. He really is scary. He hangs around some very, very scary people. Okay. See, now I'm putting that on video and they're going to come find me. Okay, so negative number.
I have to edit that little bit out.
I know, right? Has a negative sign. Oh my goodness, y'all didn't know that, did you? I know. Positive numbers has what kind of sign? Raise your hand. Someone besides the tie all the time. Tanner?
No sign.
Very good. See, Talia, I remember how you are. She's gonna be the first one. Okay,
Listen, I got it right.
that would be good. 0. Now this is interesting. And in my past notes, oh dear. My past notes, I have a red star there. You don't have to put a red star, but I'd put a star there. And there's a reason. Because my students forget all the time that 0, and we ask, is it positive or negative?
Neither.
Raise your hand. Yes, ma'am.
Both.
It's
Is it neither?
really, did you raise your hand
Yes.
before you yelled it out? Okay, it's neither. So kind of like along the same lines. It's neither positive nor negative. I am not a grammar teacher. So my spelling and grammar may be wrong. Just ignore it. I'm teaching you math. Okay, so 0, it's not a positive number. It's not a negative number. You could say it's both because it's just 0. Okay? And I still have students, even my Algebra 1 students, that are like, is that positive or negative? Okay, think about it.
It's just absolutely nothing.
It's nothing. Absolutely.
It's just air.
Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, children, let's move on. Opposite numbers. Opposite numbers are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. Most of this is common sense. But you just have to know this. Opposite numbers are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. And some of you may hear this and say, what? Because some of this stuff that I'm going to give you as notes is going to be like blah, 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 blah. Some of you are going to get it and be like, that's common sense. We get that. Some of these properties up here are so dumb. Y'all, I have to introduce them to you, but they're so dumb, I'm not spending a lot of time on them. I'm not even going to test you on probably most of them because we all know that 2 plus 4 is the same as 4 plus 2. We know that. So I'm not going, it's common sense. There's a couple properties in here that you have to learn. But by the time I'm done with you, you'll have it memorized. Trust me.
I can't even see it.
Yeah, I know. This is a dumb wall. I need to have posters on this wall where my students can see,
I'm looking now.
but they won't allow it, so
Remember
it
you
is
told
what
us
it
that
is.
whenever we drift off like a stupid, look at your math posters.
That's right. Whenever you get bored listening to me, you can stare at a math poster and learn. Okay, so opposite numbers are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. You know what that's saying? This right here. That right there. Common sense. Opposite numbers are the same distance from 0, but in opposite directions. No kidding. Again, common sense, but I have to teach you that. So notice, they are the same distance from 0. This is called additive inverse. I'm going to put a star here and here, and a star here and here, because you need to know that. If I say, what is the additive inverse of -2? It's 2. What is the additive inverse of +4? -4. But you got to know this terminology. Additive inverse. Is it going to kill you to kind of forget the words? But if the book asks or a test asks, you got to know what they're asking for. They're asking for the opposite, guys. That's it. Okay. Everyone got it? All right. Absolute value.
Use the back.
Yeah, please use the back of the page, because if you need to, because you'll waste a whole spiral. Trust me.
Remember last year I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't use the whole spiral, and I also didn't use the back.
Oh, you will this year.
Yeah, probably.
Absolute value. And integers. Distance.
Is it an A or an O?
Where?
On the end. Near the end.
That's an E.
No, past value.
A.
No.
And.
That's an A. Oh.
And integers distance from, yeah, my handwriting's not the best, from 0 on the, you'll get used to it, number line.
I think it also helps whenever you tell us what you're writing.
Right. Direction does not matter. I'll explain that. So direction does not matter. Absolute value and integers distance from 0 on the number line. Direction does not matter. Guys, it's very simple. See those bars? Make sure the bars are bigger than whatever you have inside. Put another star. Where bars represent a number x in absolute value. Okay, the bars, x is any number. The bars represent absolute value. Notice that they are bigger than whatever number you have in there. The last thing you want to do is make the bars the same size, because then you'll get confused and think it's a 1. Happens all the time. So these are absolute value bars. They need to be bigger than whatever number you have on the inside, so you don't think they are a 1. There are no negative answers. Or I should say, instead of answers, how about we say absolute values? Absolute value answers, okay. And I'll explain that in a minute. Answer, always positive unless negative sign on outside. And I'll let y'all catch up. And actually, I don't think y'all are gonna have, yep, yeah, I do, y'all do. Joseph, you got it? Are you still writing? Okay. Kelly, you almost done?
I'm done.
Okay. Example. Here we go. First example. Raise your hand if you can tell me the absolute value of 24. Atalia? 24. Madeline, what is the absolute value of -2?
2.
Very good. Yes, ma'am?
Doesn't the negative sign have to be outside?
Unless it's always going to be positive unless the negative sign's on the outside. So if you have any negative number on the inside of the absolute value bars, it's always going to be positive. No matter what is on the inside, always going to be positive.
I was confused with that. Also, if the negative is on the outside, then it's negative.
I'm about to show you. So let's see number 3. If I had this,
Would that be -2?
that would be -2 because you bring down the negative. And what's the absolute value of 2, boys and girls?
2.
There you go. There's your answer. Y'all see that? If the negative sign is on the inside, it's always going to be positive. If the negative sign is on the outside, that's when you just bring it down and it's going to be negative. What about the absolute value of -150, Tanner?
150.
Bingo. Positive 150. Joseph, what is the absolute value of 3,425?
3,425.
Perfect. Any questions? I got more examples, so. Write those down. When you're done, put your pencils down so I know you've finished.
Number 27, 5th grade.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to do a different kind of example. Let's say the directions say write numbers in order from least to greatest. Make sure you highlight or underline your directions because they're going to try to trick you. They may say least to greatest or greatest to least. Let's say your choices are -3, 5, and -7. Which one? Raise your hand if you can tell me which is the least of the three. Joseph,
-3.
look again.
-7.
There you go. -7 is your smallest number out of this whole group. So you would write it as -7, and then there's your least to greatest sign. So what would come next, Atalia?
-3.
And what would come next, Kelly?
5.
There you go. That is how you would write it. And you box your answers. Guys, on your homework, you must box your answers. Let's say the directions are write numbers in order from greatest to least. And your choices are 8, -6, 0, and -1. Let y'all write that down. Madeline, which one is the greatest here? 8. And this time, because it's greatest to least, the sign's going to be different. So 8 is greater than, what's my next one, Tanner?
0.
Very good. 0, greater than, Atalia? -1. And then Kelly, what's next?
6.
Just 6?
-6.
-6. Very good. And I box my answer. All right, any questions? Let y'all catch up. When you have caught up, open up your book to page 4. We're going to do examples. I tell you, just turn the page.
We're a lot more than we used to.
Because you're older. Actually, I think I'm going to drop down to number 6. Everyone ready? All right, look at number 6. The directions say write the opposite of each of the following numbers. So number 6 is negative 16. Joseph, what would the answer be?
16.
And I'm boxing my answer. That's kind of self-explanatory. All right, 8. Directions say write the absolute value of each of the following. They gave you negative 7. Italia, what is the absolute value of negative 7? 7. And I'm boxing my answer. 10. Was the absolute value of 0? Tanner, you want to guess? What is it?
0.
There you go. It's just 0. Any questions so far? All right, directions on the next part. Compare by using less than or greater than. So 12, it's 9, and you're comparing it to negative 3. Kelly, which is greater?
9.
Very good, so your answer is greater than. You don't have to box that. 14, we have negative 4 compared to positive 2. Madeline. 2 is greater, so negative 4 is less than 2. Good job. Any questions so far? All right, the next group, write the integers in order from least to greatest. We're already on number 22. They give you negative 15, 11, and 8. So back to Joseph. Joseph, least to greatest
Negative 15.
is less than, go ahead,
8.
8, which is less than 11, and we box our answer. Any questions? 2 more and then I'm setting you free. $24. The directions say simplify. All right, I have negative absolute value of 5. Italia, what would that answer be? Bingo, it is negative 5 because, boys and girls, we bring down the negative and the absolute value of 5 is 5. So the answer is negative 5. Any questions? All right, last one, 26. Tanner, you up for it? All right, negative absolute value of 5 minus 3. All right, Tanner, what do you think is the first thing we need to do with this problem?
5 minus 3.
That's right. So we're going to bring down the negative. And you do not take it out of absolute value yet. What is 5 minus 3, Tanner?
2.
So now we have absolute value of 2. See that? I brought down the negative sign and we are not taking it out of absolute value yet. Trust me, don't do it. So now, Tanner, what is the and I'm bringing down the negative sign. What's the absolute value of 2?
Negative 2.
What's the absolute value of 2?
2.
All right. Now, what's my answer?
Negative 2.
Bingo.
But wouldn't you have gotten that anyways if you would have taken it out at first?
But you've got to be careful because you know there's going to be times where in here it could be a negative. And we'll talk about that another time. Okay? So be very careful. Any questions? All right, I'm setting you free. You are doing page 5. No, 4 and 5, I think. Yeah, page 4 to 5. You're doing numbers 13 to 31 odd. Let's see, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 problems. And if you want, I'll even have bonus 43 and 45. And it is due Tuesday.
Actually, gonna come out of the classroom like you used to do.
Yep.